Welcome to Brand Lover, honest, real, and lively conversations for flourishing entrepreneurs and budding business owners on a mission to cultivate a heartfelt brand that connects with their purpose-driven mission. My hope is that you walk away feeling inspired and refreshed with a weekly takeaway in your back pocket that you can apply to your life or business. Okay, lovely, this is serious. Business cards are not dead. I give my clients a choice when they work with me to either choose a business card or a thank you card. And inevitably, they choose the thank you card most of the time. Obviously, there are the exceptions every now and then, usually in sort of where there are in-person appointments involved. Obviously, business cards are still used, but there are many creative ways that you can use business cards in this day and age to strengthen your brand. Even if you are an online business or a predominantly an online business, I do believe that there is always opportunity for in-person events, whether it's conferences or retreats or networking events. You're not always going to just be online unless you are the biggest introvert in the world. I am an introvert and I still go to some events. So you can't use that as an excuse either. But I'm here to tell you that business cards are most certainly not dead, and there are many ways that you can actually use them. And I'm going to share 4 reasons with you today, and I'm just going to dive right in. So let's just say you have a few competitors. Let's just say, you know that you do, but I'm not going to go into that today. If you are even if you're in e-commerce or in a service-based situation, if you have some kind of sensory or tangible way of connecting with your clients or your customers or potential clients and customers, you are going to shine and be more memorable outside of those competitors who are saying things like business cards are dead. I don't need business cards, who aren't investing in tangibility for their business. So what you're doing already is separating yourself. You are establishing a clear point of difference in this way. So you are providing a sensory, tangible connectivity that is going to be associated with the impression that you're leaving, which helps to build your brand reputation ultimately. It's not going to do it on its own, but it is a way that you can facilitate it. It's also going to increase memorability and recall when it comes to your brand. So let's just say you are at a networking event. I know for a fact that there's been events that I've been to where I've asked somebody for their business card and they haven't had one because they don't need one. But I just asked for one. So, even these days where there are digital solutions like QR codes, people might offer you their phone for you to scan a QR code and it will take them to their social account or website or whatever. If your phone restarts, you're going to lose the website maybe. And, you might sort of come back to it a few weeks later and go, oh, why is that there? And close the tab. If it's on socials, for example, you know that it's just going to get lost. You know that you're not automatically going to see every single person that you follow on socials, and it's going to just disappear. And so by having something physical that you can leave with somebody, if it evokes some kind of feeling in them, and it's like a physical point of reference for the interaction that you had with that person. So that's number 1. Number 2, business cards they're not just business cards, okay? They're not just a place for you to put your contact details on. They are a place for you to represent your brand, like to leave an impression. First impressions are imperative. I can't even say that often enough. First impressions, second impressions, third impressions, all of these things are what's going to start cultivating the feelings and emotions associated with your brand that are then going to settle in a reputation. Inevitably, hopefully, they will lead to trust. And this, the business cards have the potential to be the start of that journey with your potential clients and customers. So they're actually representing what you represent in your brand. If you go for a really cheap print job, like gross, cheap, glossy, peeling off, sticky, cheap ink scenario, as opposed to investing a little bit more, choosing a really lovely paper or card, maybe with something a little fancy or a special type of ink, then that's going to leave a positive impression. I would say if you're not going to do it, don't do it properly, don't do it at all. Because it can actually be detrimental to your reputation to have something cheap associated with your brand. So that was just a little bonus. But they really are a physical reference that opens the way for a deeper connection. I can't stress it. It's not just about the contact details on the card. There is opportunity to position your brand. Like if you have got a strong tagline that positions the brand, draws in the people who should be listening. If you have some gorgeous illustrations of your products or, different brand embellishments, you're actually starting to build a feeling. And what you're doing is just adding another touch point, another customer, in the customer journey that is in alignment with all of your other brand collateral, like all of the different things that you're doing in your brand, like your website and your your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever else it is. That should all be consistent. Your business card is an opportunity to apply that in a new way, but in a more physical way, like an actual real way. So you're actually going to be evoking trust because it's inevitably going to give you that, like a deeper feeling of connection with something that's actually real, that somebody can touch, they can feel it. And it's just, what I'm trying to say is that if you are competing in the online space, it's difficult for people to sort of put their trust in you because they can't sense it. They don't actually have a sensory experience with your brand. So if there is a way that you can create this with a physical item like a business card, you're going to make that, fill that gap a lot faster. That's what I'm trying to say. So number 3 is that there is so much scope for creativity. So there is actually an opportunity to showcase your brand personality. And as I was saying before, it's not, it's in your brand embellishments and in your, like your brand elements and your logo design and your color palette, of course, but there's actually scope in your finishes. Now, we've just wrapped up a masterclass inside the Branding Hub with a representative from one of the largest paper merchants in Australia, Ball and Doggett. They supply printers with an incredible range of different stocks and cards that we explored all of the different creative possibilities to use for your own print jobs, so like business cards and flyers, etc. So don't get fooled into thinking that business cards are boring, that they're just like the standard gloss coating or even just a normal card. There are so many different ways that you can actually communicate your brand personality through different types of finishes like foils or embossing or different shapes and die cuts. You can have round corners. You can actually have different shaped cards. Maybe you could have a square business card. All of these things are actually helping to shape an impression. So number 4 is that a business card, it doesn't just have to be a business card. Like, it can have multiple uses. It doesn't have to just be like the boring business card you get from the optometrist, for example. It can have multiple uses. You can actually leverage it and invest in it to actually make a return on your brand. So, for example, you can use them not just in initial meetings and, for example, if your e-commerce may be like at a trade show or a market or that sort of thing, like first-time customers, you can actually use them for ongoing customers to encourage them back to you, to actually start building that brand loyalty. So, for example, it could be a discount card that you include in an order. It could be a bonus offer that they will only receive if they have the card, which encourages them to keep it. A loyalty card, like, I'm sure that I've got like 50 different coffee loyalty cards. Actually, that's not true. I only visit a few coffee shops. That's way over exaggerating. Maybe 3. 3 of my favorite coffee shops that they will inevitably give you because they want you to keep coming back to them to come and get your free coffee. And of course, that's it's customer retention. It's encouraging customer retention. Appointment cards, so people don't forget their appointments. And you can actually use business cards for thank you notes. They're less expensive than the larger, A6 type postcard ones. But they can just be a really lovely addition in an order, for example, or in a client gift, like a client thank you gift. It can be just a lovely little reference, maybe the website and your logo on the front and a little handwritten note on the back. And that's just a personal touch. Like, that's building in that deeper connection. It's infusing connection with your brand personality and creating a feeling in that person. And that's what branding is all about. It's about, establishing an ecosystem that's going to create a magnetic pull to your perfect customers. And business cards can help you do that. So I'm incredibly passionate about this topic. I could go on about it forever, but hopefully that's given you some inspiration to start thinking about how you can actually use business cards strategically for your brand, to represent your brand. It is an investment that you will never regret. So that's it. My 4 tips for for helping you understand how you can use business cards, why you should be using business cards, and how just some different ideas about how you can actually get that underway. So I did mention that we just had a masterclass all about choosing different finishes and different stocks to represent your brand through your print jobs inside the Branding Hub. And doors to the Branding Hub are opening for new members this coming Wednesday. So I'll pop the link to the waitlist down below. Today is your very last chance to get on the waitlist if you're listening today, on the day that this podcast has been released. I would love to see you there. I would love to help you to grow your brand with practical ways and time-saving resources, creative ways that you can use illustrations and pre-made graphics and things that I have created that are fully customizable. You can use to help do all of the things that we discussed during the podcast today, is like actually create a brand that has a point of difference, has a personality, and it stands out amongst your competitors to attract the right people in a professional way. So I'd love to see you there. And I'd also love to hear if you were inspired to go and think about some creative ways that you can use a business card. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this week's episode of Brand Lover, take a screenshot of wherever you're listening and share your biggest takeaway on Instagram or Facebook, and don't forget to tag me. I'd love to give you a shout out and thank you personally. Also, feel free to subscribe and leave a review to help the Brand Lover podcast reach more heart-aligned entrepreneurs just like yourself. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.